If you're in cryptocurrency, you're going to need to watch this very, very, very closely. Your patience are going to be absolutely tested. If you are not stoic, if you are not calm, you will get wrecked in this industry. I remember back when Ripple was sued by the SEC, everybody went running from XRP. And I did a video a long time ago, and I said, I'm holding on like a tick on a dog. And from that moment, I started going all in on XRP, even more than I was before. I started buying it every single day. And every time I had extra cash flow and every time I have extra cash flow, I bought more. I put my money where my mouth is. Well, from that point to now, when Trump got elected, my portfolio went up 600%. And now I think as we sit now, it's around 400 and let me take a look right now. I think it's around 420. Let me give an exact number right now. 486%. So think about that. 3 years of patience, dedication, discipline. Most people's fiat currency, dollar, deflated by 19%, and mine increased by 486% as of today. Now, this is where the stoicism comes in, because the stuff I'm going to present to you is very, very bullish. And you need to pay attention to interest rates. You have to understand how micro and macroeconomics work. Jerome Powell is going to be forced to lower interest rates, or he's going to be replaced. And if he is replaced, or if it's Jerome Powell, they're going to start lowering interest rates. And when they lower interest rates, they want a weaker dollar. Trump is not afraid of competition. He wants a weaker dollar. Think about this for just a moment. What are Trump's biggest assets in? Real estate. And now they're going all in on cryptocurrency. What is the common thread behind those two? When interest rates drop, he can buy more real estate. Real estate booms. When interest rates drop, it devalues fiat currency. And what goes up? Things like Bitcoin with fixed supplies, things like XRP with fixed supplies. So tomorrow I'll be reporting about what Judge Torres did. She stalled the case even more, but that's okay, guys. Hang on. Be stoic. Be calm. Don't trip by the dip. All right, so let's dive right in. So I want to share with you guys. So the first thing I'm going to share with you guys, and I'm going to continue to drive in the legitimacy. Now, there's something that's really, really important. You know, if you're still listening to this, comment warrior, okay? If you're emotional and you're triggered by every little thing and you think that everything that's announced around cryptocurrency is going to all of a sudden explode these markets, and you're following these people that talk about the flip of the switch and this date is going to do this and this date's going to do this. I used to follow all that stuff, okay? And I used to kind of be like that. And I realized it's just not how it works, guys. There's a systematic change in the financial system. It's that simple. And it doesn't work that way. There's not just a flip of a switch and all of a sudden some like Wizard of Oz, they hit a button and then everything's going to happen. All the liquidity is going to come in. It's a big, big transition that's happening. We're transitioning from a fiat currency to a fixed supply type currency. Okay. The baby boomers are the wealthiest population. They have all the wealth. They're used to using cash, slow, archaic systems. That wealth is transferring down. Banks have massive transitions they have to do to change their infrastructure. We just got the Genius Act and stablecoin regulation. Stablecoins are going to take over the monetary system. They're going to tokenize treasuries. Then banks are going to be working to custody your cryptocurrency. Then by 2030, there's going to be a bunch of people that run from this. There's people right now because of what happened with Judge Torres today. They're going to be like, I'm out of XRP. And we're going to wake up in 2029, 2030, and our portfolio will go up another 600%, right? So my point behind this is the news is fantastic. It's amazing to do what we do, or it's easy to do what I do now because there's news every single day. But these are all just bullish things, but we still need adoption. 95% of the public does not own cryptocurrency. 5% of the population does. 95% of the supplies of Bitcoin is gone. Okay, so let's dive right in.
Stablecoins coming into the mainstream here. Circle went public last week, hugely successful debut. The USDC stablecoin, for folks that maybe don't realize it, that you are a partner on all of this and that 50%, maybe more than 50% of that USDC revenue actually comes to Coinbase. What do investors need to know and understand about this partnership and how deep the roots lie?
Yeah, well, we're incredibly happy that we're working with Circle over this many years, and they've been a great partner. But I think you're right. The market probably is not fully valuing that relationship in terms of Coinbase. It's a huge business for us with USDC. We're the preferred distribution partner. And so we're excited just to keep building out products and services with Circle that increase adoption. I know they have a number of amazing products coming to market as well. And it seems like at this point, every fintech, every bank, even every Fortune 500, they're all thinking, what is our stablecoin strategy? How are we going to integrate this? And so they're reaching out to companies like Coinbase and Circle to provide these products and services. Just to give you one other stat, stablecoins, the market cap grew 50% year over year. This was totally uncorrelated with other crypto trading volume, by the way, and the price of Bitcoin. So it's truly a separate new category. And last year there was about $30 trillion in stablecoin volume in terms of payments. And so it's hard to imagine that scale is just growing so quickly. And it makes sense because these rails they're faster, they're cheaper, they're more global. Payments flow to the path of least resistance, and crypto rails are now the most efficient rails globally.
Crypto is now the most efficient rails. So it's not, we're out of the wild, wild west. It's not, will crypto be here? It's a fraud. It is here. We have regulation. Okay. Looking forward to working on the market structure as the House moves to send the Genius Acts to Trump's desk. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to have, and we still got a long run here, guys, coming from the banking sector, being an executive banker, a VP, understanding how radical this transformation is. When I left the bank in 2017, guys, we were still doing transfers on the black screen with the green. I think that's called DOS. We were still doing transfers. Was it called SN55 or something like that? It's like that was 2017, guys. I think some banks are still using that. So there is not a flip of a switch that happens. It's things have to move. You need regulation, you need clarity. So one step was a Genius Act. The next step is the market structure now. So now the system needs market structure, and they need to know how to operate in this.
But it's very different from the House. The House can move this with the majority. They may be able to bring some Democrats along when the Democrats know that it's going to pass. That's not the case here in the Senate. It took months of work to get the point that we did, to get this across the 60-vote threshold here in the Senate, and we just did that last week. Here's an opportunity for a win. Here's an opportunity to build momentum. And frankly, we've got multiple jurisdictions here in the Senate that will have to come together, form committee meetings. It's going to be complicated here because of two committees that have to be involved in this, and it's going to take more time. I think my advice to everybody would be, let's take the win now, let's build momentum, and then let's dedicate our time to going further as market structure and other opportunities present themselves. But right now, timing is critical for a number of reasons. We want to get this started. We want to get this moving. And again, open up this new market for digital assets, open up this new payment mechanism so we can see the investments take place, so we can see the benefit to the American economy.
Boom. So we can see the investments take place and the movement of the economy. Okay, so let's dive into interest rates. Okay, this is where I stay calm and stay stoic. And this is like the way that I picture it. Let me bring you guys a little bit bigger on my screen here. I like to talk to you guys. I like to look you in the eyes. I think of like a slingshot, okay, the Judge Torres thing today, right? It's like all the FUD, and this thing is getting tighter and tighter, and I love it, man. I love the pressure. I love it. And then the thing just launches, and what happens is, as it's being pulled back, people drop off, can't handle the pressure. Oh, I'm not a multi-millionaire yet. I've been in crypto for 6 months. Oh my God, I've been in it for 5 years and I'm not a multi-millionaire, but I'll spend 30 years in my job that I hate to make $250,000. Right? Like it's a fraud, it's a FUD. And they listen to their drunk uncle at the barbecue, and then they all jump off the train. As Rosie Rio said, that freight train has left the building, and young, this thing just launches. And then all the people that jumped off the train come rushing back in while trying to catch the top, and they get wrecked. That's how the system works, guys. That's why the 1% always remain the 1%. Jim Rohn says you put $1 million in every single person's pocket, it'll end up in the same 1%'s hand. They operate on a different mindset. They operate in a different ecosystem. They don't store cash. It's absolutely trash. They buy real estate. They buy Bitcoin. I believe they're buying up XRP. That's what I'm doing. My top three are XRP, Solana, and Bitcoin. And so I'm going to probably end up just consolidating into those three and have this huge portfolio of Bitcoin, XRP, and Solana. We're doing that at a company level. We have a Bitcoin treasury and XRP treasury. We have our dividend ETF strategy. We're cash flow, not cash. Insurance. Okay. And this is why. So Howard Lutnick, so you got to study, you know who Larry Fink is, right? I had him on the front of it, which I'll show you something with BlackRock really quickly here, is he posted this. Listening now, remember, Howard Lutnick is the CEO of Cantor. I think his son runs Cantor, which is connected with SoftBank. They're competing against MicroStrategies now. They have a Bitcoin company that lends to companies, to Bitcoin companies, okay? He said that's why President Trump calls Powell a loser, because Powell would rather ignore the tariff revenues and keep the US rates highest in the world. Right now, we are the highest interest rates in the world because he's afraid to act. Each 1% cut saves the US hundreds of billions of dollars in interest payments. He should help our economy grow while shrinking our deficit. It's a simple formula. There is no inflation. He just keeps testifying to it. Just cut our interest rates. Our deficit will naturally shrink and our economy will soar, Jerome Powell. Your job is to help Americans, not hurt them. So do your job and cut our absurdly high interest rates at your next meeting. So that is in July. Okay. I told you guys, I believe August is going to be amazing. September is going to be awesome. October is going to be stupendous. And I believe November and December, your head is going to explode. I love it. I love it. Oh, shit. I do this on recorded video, so you can come back, save this video, and see if I'm right. Okay. Cointelegraph update. Morgan Stanley expects the Fed to deliver 7 rate cuts in 2026. So if that happens, this is going to continue on. But here's the thing. Remember, write this down. Nothing in nature has a straight line. Everything that goes up comes down. Okay. Nothing's just going to keep going up, guys. Everything's going to have volatility to it. That's why I diversify. That's why I have crypto. I'm not all in on crypto. I have 10% of my portfolio in super high risk dividends that pay me a shitload of money every single month, but I de-risk back into Bitcoin and XRP. Okay. I got my insurance. My wealth is insured. So if everything comes collapsing down, I got a bunch of principal or supercharged saving that's secured. And then I got 2 leverage components. So I don't have to deal with these banks anymore. Okay. If they cut rates 7 times, holy moly. All right. Let's leave you guys with this with BlackRock. Man, I'm feeling good today. I don't know about you guys. Like, I saw that Judge Torres thing and it actually made me smile, man. I'm like, here we go. This is it, man. This is where the training comes in. This is where the discipline and consistency comes in. This is where the exercise comes in. This is where the relationship with God and spirituality comes in. God and Jesus Christ for me. Like it's just calmness, guys. It's part of the system. You don't want to get rich quick. You don't. That's why I'm so against the meme coin casino and all these, influencers promoting these meme coins and pumping and dumping people. It's like, it's a horrible way to do your investing. Even if you do win, it's not how the brain should operate. The brain should be disciplined. It should be consistent. It likes patterns, and the brain gets reward and dopamine from the things you do in darkness. Okay. Not the hype you put out in public, not the applause that you get, not the big hit in crypto on getting rich quick on something. That's fake dopamine. The dopamine is the discipline and consistency done for a long enough period of time to access the new paradigm. And that's how you build a kingdom. That's how you remain consistent. That's how you build a foundation. It's not done hastily. It's not done quickly. Like when somebody, I was had a one-on-one with a client the other day, and he's like, man, how did, he was really frustrated. He was like, how did you get to where you're at? I said, man, I know it looked like overnight success in 2020. I said, but nobody saw from 2000, after my suicide on December 18, 2006, the studying I did for 10 years to get to executive. And then from there, all the mindset training. Then I left corporate America. And from 2017 to 2020, I posted consistently 3 times a day on multiple platforms. Nobody was watching. I never quit. I never stopped. I kept going. I stayed focused. I stayed dedicated. I stayed disciplined. So if you consider 4 years of massive consistency, not getting paid for the first 3 years in my businesses, and my CFO didn't get paid for the first 4 years. We just grinded it out. We kept scaling. I drove Uber. I did everything I could. We failed 5 times before our first business ever worked. So everybody's like, oh, COVID, overnight success. We went viral on social. Yeah. After we put in years and years, I spent my whole 401k building my first company. I spent all my savings. I sold my dream home to build my first company. I lost everything. And so finally it worked out. And then COVID took away our business. We have a gym next door. One of our companies is a 3T Warrior Academy, which has a gym facility. They shut down gyms. So then I finally make it, and then they shut down my business. And what did I do? I humbled myself. I moved back with my parents. I'm like, I ain't touching my crypto because I knew what this was going to do. And I studied and I got crazy discipline. I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with people taking away my ability to take care of my family. No man or woman will ever come into my ecosystem and take away my ability to take care of my family. So I learned about protecting my wealth through insurance. I learned about cash flow. I learned about the cash flow quadrant, how to get on the right side. I studied Richest Man in Babylon, the wisdom of King Solomon. And I started at a very small level and I got disciplined. And when this bull run hit in 2020 to 2022, I didn't buy Lambos, Ferraris, and big houses and nice watches and flex. My flex was building businesses, creating cash flow. And as everybody ran from crypto, I accumulated. As everybody told me it was a fraud, I went deeper. And the biggest thing I did was build a solid principal model, a decision model. All my decisions run through my principal model. And I set strict boundaries. And I decided who I am and what I'm going to be and what my purpose is. And anything that's out of alignment with that, anything that's out of line with God, family, protecting my ecosystem, it's a hard no. All right. So let's listen to this last video from, let me give you the context of who this beautiful gentleman is. It is Justin BlackRock's, Mitchnick says Bitcoin is a global, scarce, non-sovereign, decentralized asset that's not associated with any country.
So when you think about Bitcoin, we really at BlackRock view that as this emerging global monetary alternative, this global, scarce, non-sovereign, decentralized asset that's not associated with any one country or its fortunes. And that's similar, of course, in a lot of ways to how people have been drawn to gold over the years. And so there's a certain way that you would expect that to behave from an investment perspective.
Boom. Maybe that's why they're the largest holder in Bitcoin besides Satoshi. I don't know. You'd have to do your research on that. But here we are. So as I do, if you're new to my channel, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, because I do this every single day and I repeat the same things every single day. And the reason why I got on my soapbox is the reason why I repeat the same thing every day is because how life works, it's A times E equals R. If you don't have a result, it's either the activity or the effectiveness. Okay. If you don't have a result and you look back at the week or your last couple of years, you look, okay, am I doing the proper activity? And if you're doing the proper activity, you're just not effective at it. But the only way to become effective and get a result is to do the activity for a long enough period of time to be able to measure, have enough data to measure the effectiveness of that activity. So just like investing, I built out a model of how I was going to do this through insurance, through cash flow, through deflationary assets. And then I said in the future, I'm going to start leveraging my assets like the wealthy do. And I started very, very small. I started dollar cost averaging into my first it was Xrp that I constantly, and I forgot that I said it and forget it. That's how disciplined I am. So I'm bragging, so disciplined. But Solana, I forgot that I've been buying it $100 of Solana every single month. That's been going on forever. And, yeah, so I totally forgot that I said that. And that's what happens. That's why I said it and forget it's important. So the three things that I'm dollar cost averaging into, Bitcoin and XRP, it's every single day for me. Okay. Solana's every single month. Okay. So I'm buying those and I have my top cryptos are Bitcoin. I'm gonna share with you everything I do. Bitcoin. Oh, hold on. Let me go back. Gosh, I'm getting all jumbled here. Let me go XRP, BTC, Solana, XLM, HBAR, and VeChain's coming in a close number 6. So number 1 is XRP, number 2 is BTC, number 3 is Solana, XLM, HBAR. By the time the dust settles, I'm just going to be accumulating XRP, Bitcoin, and Solana. Because outside of that, I have many different things going on. So what happens is Bitcoin I hold, just pretend Bitcoin is a piece of gold and I'm not selling it, okay? Because that's a leverage component, okay? So what I do is I work to create cash flow. Okay, so cash flow is number 1. So I have cash generating businesses that pay me dividends or that pay me for my equity in those companies, right? So I have a Monday paycheck, a Wednesday paycheck, and a Friday paycheck. So I get paid 3 times a week. I have different companies. From there, every single time I get paid, outside of my debts and non-negotiables, okay, I buy XRP and Bitcoin every single day. That's automated. And Solana once a month. It's automated, okay? From there, when I get paid outside of debts and non-negotiables, extra cash flow, I don't buy stuff. I say, okay, can I create more cash flow? I use cash generating dividends that pay me an unrealistic amount right now. But that's key. That's my high risk strategy. So 10% of my income goes into there, and it's 10% of my portfolio. It's actually giving me the largest amount of return. Okay. From there, I put dry powder, fresh money into a bank account just in case there's a dip. Okay. So when there's a dip, I buy more, either the dividend ETF or XRP and Bitcoin and Solana. Okay. From there, every single month, I pay my premiums, my cash value life insurance. When we hit the bull run, I have two policies. I have multiple policies. Me and my partner have multiple policies. Our family has policies. I have two policies that need to be max funded. So when we hit the bull run on the back end of this year, the first step is to max fund the policies. Okay. Because what does that create? Fourth is leverage. So it's cash flow, not cash. It's deflationary assets that have fixed supplies, hence Bitcoin and XRP. Protection, insurance. The insurance and the Bitcoin creates leverage. Okay. The example that I give every single time is I just used Bitcoin to do a asset-backed loan, tax-free, didn't sell any of my Bitcoin. I bought my insurance firm. I borrowed at 14% from Salt. They gave me the cash, no tax implications, bought the firm. The firm's paying it off, and we're making about 50% on average on our Bitcoin every single year. So I made 36% by borrowing from my own asset. So Salt gave me the liquidity. Loans are tax-free. I bought a cash generating asset. I beat the hurdle rate. I made 36% on my money. Very, very important to leverage responsibly. You should only leverage to buy cash generating assets, or assets are going to appreciate. They can pay off the leverage as quick as possible. So now what will happen is when that is paid off, which I think we're going into our 8th payment. So we'll be, I think, 8 months left. And then when that's paid off, damn well, I'm going to leverage again. And I keep the LTV pretty low. I'll leverage it. LTV is based on your portfolio, how much you leverage, right? 'Cause you don't want to get liquidated. I'll borrow again. I'll buy more cash generating dividends, let the dividends paid off, and then it's house money. It's all house money. Somebody said to me, well, Bitcoin's going to zero. You heard what that guy said. When you find out it's going to zero. And I was like, okay. I said, I don't think it's going to zero, but say it goes to zero by 2029, collapses down. Along the way, I bought an insurance firm. I'll have a ton of cash generating assets. I'm sure I'll buy some more real estate. So I'm not just sitting in crypto. So that's my next wise counsel is you shouldn't just be waiting for XRP to go to these 10,000, whatever these, people are saying it's going to go to. I think it's going to go high, but I think there's a lot of unrealistic expectations, and it's not how investing is done. You don't sit there and hope that XRP is going to go to $1,000 so that you can save your family. You don't hope that Bitcoin is going to go to 1 million. As you're waiting for that to happen, you go earn income. You stack more assets. You leverage and you buy more assets. So along the way, while you're waiting, you're getting wealthy. And that's probably why our Warrior Academy is so calm and stoic, because we're not waiting for Judge Torres to, that just hit me. That's why we remain so stoic. I'm not waiting for Judge Torres can do whatever she wants. She can delay it as long as she wants. I get to buy more. All the FUD is fantastic for me in our community, because I'm like, I'm buying more because I believe in it. Right. And that's the last thing I want to say is conviction. I have conviction when I say my XRP is number 1. I have conviction when I say Bitcoin's my number 2. So much conviction that we built a treasury for our company. I have conviction in my dividend ETF strategy, but I'm not foolish. It's 10% of my portfolio that gives me the largest churn, but I de-risk back into Bitcoin and XRP. So I'm very disciplined. I'm very clear about my plan. So hopefully that helps by me just telling you everything that I do. I think it's important to be honest and authentic and transparent about everything that we do. I'm encouraging you to do your research. Like I started where everybody else was at. I lost everything in 2020. I was in a vertical strategy. They shut my business down. I was like, this is bullshit. It's like everybody. So think about this. If you're in a job, you might have a secure job that you love, but you're at the mercy of the CEO, whoever's running it. They could walk in and fire you at any moment. So my family will never, ever suffer from that again. Ever. Like it's my responsibility. I control the companies now. Okay. I control the assets. I control the insurance. I control the leverage. I'm now the bank. That's freedom. Okay. So I love you guys. That was a big rant, but I love you guys very, very much. If you need any support at all, just hit me up. Warriors. Let's get your shit together. Love you guys. God bless.